Hare Krishna. I hope you can see my screen with presentation. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svadantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I would like to welcome everyone for today's first session on the series of Gita. So we'll be discussing very interesting topics today. In last session we discussed about some overview of Mahabharata, and we had a brief view of the dynasty of both Kauravas and Pandavas, and why war needed to be there because of greed of Duryodhan and establishing justice from the Pandavas' perspective. So this Bhagavad Gita actually I had been reading from last 20 years. Initial sessions were very difficult for me to understand, but as and when I kept on reading, I understood some more context, and it actually helped me to gain some more insights to apply in my personal practical life as well. So before proceeding, I just want to confirm once that Pratish or Anusha, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Fine. Okay. Okay, so this series I had designed from the three specific books. That is, first is of course Bhagavad Gita as it is from Srila Prabhupada. The second one is Surrender Unto Me by Bhurjan Prabhu, and both of them had given a quite detailed explanation from the devotional perspective. And I happened to attend one more interesting course in Govardhan Eco Village. It's in Bombay, on outskirts of Bombay near GEV, where they had covered chapter-wise details for Bhagavad Gita, and it had given me more insights. So all these studies had helped me personally. So I thought of designing this course, which will help for me to revise my own concept and for others, those who will be interested. So this first chapter is called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means lamentation. So very shortly we'll see what kind of lamentation it is. In English, Prabhupada translated that as observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, because this is the scenario from which Arjuna happened to face his Vishada. So the more I wanted to give some more details on this Vishada before delving deep into the subject matter. It means actually some kind of insecurity or some specific anxiety because of some tension, pressure, or some kind of mental stress to take certain decision. And that scenario or that circumstance, it actually drains all our vital energy, because no matter what decision you take, you see disasters everywhere. So this generally doesn't happen in day out of our regular schedule, but definitely some near and dear's death, or some kind of financial stress, or some mega situation happens in life where we are completely bewildered, and we will be able to proceed in life only if we have the higher knowledge about how to look at this situation. The moment our perspective changes, it actually helps us to overcome this anxiety. So let's try to understand what this exact anxiety means. So this anxiety, I'm covering this second point here. The low level anxiety generally comes out of some kind of comparison or criticism. And comparison means all my other peers are able to get this. Even the people who are not having so much skill as me are having better life. Or some kind of criticism of somebody who has achieved much more than me. So that kind of insecurity, why I'm not getting it, and then mind goes mad about it. That's the initial level of insecurity. Now there is another level that I'm covering, third point now, that is called as analysis paralysis. Now this happens with some people who have lot of knowledge about different angles about certain subject matter, and they are not able to come up to the terms that what is best in this situation. So if I do this, that will happen. If I do that, that will happen, and then this will go wrong and that will go wrong. Mind creates all kind of test cases, circumstances where our mind just gets bewildered with all these scenarios. So the end effect of all this kind of anxiety or insecurities is that our mind is so much jam, and we are not able to think why this happened with me, why only me, others are having, even they did so many bad things compared to me, but still they're having better life. Why all this why question comes. And the very important characteristic of anxiety is it amplifies it in a mind in such a way that it almost creates that as a reality, that this situation has actually happened, and it tries to make us suffer even though in reality nothing has happened. So because in this particular anxiety situation, what actually comes out is all kinds of our attachments in life and any kind of fears we are facing in our life. It could be some kind of belongings like property or whatever, the houses or financial investments. It could be some kind of relations, close relations, long distance relation, whatever. And of course it's the reputation. So something is getting at stake, and this anxiety actually drains away our entire energy. And it is said that there is term called as psychosomatic. So anything which goes in the mind actually affects on our body as well. So we will see in the course of this first chapter how Arjun also got affected because of so much of anxiety about the decision which he has to make. So as this chapter starts, I would like to give a very brief summary about what exactly we will be covering in this particular session. So, if you look at the first chapter, we have this series of verses. And if you look at the verse numbers, the first verse is about Dhritarashtra's inquiry. And then there are this Duryodhana's politics, and then there is some description of the battlefield, and then there is Arjuna's genuine concerns. So we will go through them one by one. The first of all, Dhritarashtra's inquiry, that is the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, that he speaks of Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta Yuyotsavaha, Mamakas, Pandavas Chaiva, Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So if you see in this picture, this person sitting next to Dhritarashtra is Sanjay, who is able to, with the blessings of Vyasadeva, he is able to envision everything on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And why Dhritarashtra is asking that Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is also a very dharmic place. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha means all kind of armies are gathered. Which kind of armies? Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva. So my sons and Pandu's sons, they are gathered. Kim Akurvata, what are they going to do? Of course, they are not gathered to play some kind of football match or cricket match. They are there for war. So why Dhritarashtra is asking such kind of anxiety? Why is he anxious to know what is happening? Because Dhritarashtra is feeling some level of insecurity that his side is going to lose this particular war. And why? It is actually some kind of comparison. So Pandavas, he knew that they are very much pious people. Krishna is backing them. On other side, my son, although he is having more strength of numbers in terms of army, but he is lacking piety. And that place where they are having this thing, it's actually a very pious place. So effect of place might be there. So Dhritarashtra was having some kind of insecurity, anxiety, and that insecurity is out of comparison between his sons and sons of Pandu. It's a mode of ignorance. Now, next, very interesting series of verses which shows the mindset of Duryodhana. Now we'll go in depth about this, but it's very interesting that how Duryodhana is trying to handle this situation from his side completely from materialistic calculation perspective. So this insecurity which is coming from Duryodhana is from the criticism perspective. He's trying to emphasize how we are better than other side, how we should win, and everybody should put their best. That kind of dialogues are there for the next 10 verses. After that, there is a series of 7 verses where we see how Bhishma Pitamaha, when he blows his first conch, then everybody else, Krishna, Pandavas, others also blow their conch. And very interesting part, if you see here, there are names of their conch shells. It was very interesting for me that Krishna's conch, Panchajanya, Arjuna's conch, even Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira, Nakul, Sahadev, that uh, Pushpa, Manikosh, Manipushpak, and there are a few more names mentioned. Bhima's conch, Poundra. So all these names actually signify that whatever, even Arjuna's Dhanusya, that is that bow which he carries, is called as Gandiva. So all his all these personal belongings, they had given a specific name. That means they had a lot of respect and honor for such things. We generally do these things only with some maybe institutions or big things or even kids, but giving names to our own personal belonging, this is actually shows a lot of personalistic attitude while dealing with the possessions. So both sides blow their conch, all musical instruments, battlefield instruments, and everybody charged up that let's start some fight. And after the blowing of conch shell is as good as actually saying that now let us start. But very interesting situation happens here, and that's regarding Arjuna, where he tells Krishna that I want to see who has gathered on this battlefield from both the sides. He want to see from Pandava side who has come and from the Kaurava side who has come. Now, technically, Arjuna, of course, knew that who is from his side, who is from other side, and how they look and what are their skill sets. Everything knew, but still he wanted to see them in what spirit they are right now to fight this particular battle, because it was not easy battle for anybody to handle. So Arjuna requested Krishna, please take my chariot in between of these two armies. And Krishna knew the reason why Arjuna is asking this. It is not out of he is feeling some kind of fear or he is feeling some kind of anxiety about criticism or comparison, nothing of that sort. Arjuna was having some doubts and his heart was still not convinced. Why should I fight this battle? And Krishna wanted to crush those doubts, and that's the prime reason why this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. So Krishna knew what is there in Arjuna's hearts, and he took the chariot right in the middle of both the battlefields. So before going into Arjuna's concerns, let's try to understand what is there in the Duryodhana's mind. When he starts speaking, it was very interesting for me that when introduction of Duryodhana given in Bhagavad Gita, very first verse he goes to whom? Dronacharya, his martial teacher. He's as good as spiritual master, and he tells him what? He is not glorifying, oh, you have such a nice skills and we are looking forward to you, and then let us together try to conquer this particular battle. Nothing of that sort. Very first thing, he is glorifying whom? He is glorifying the other party, Pandavas. Look at Drishtadyumna. He has arranged the Pandavas army so beautifully and strategically. And who has taught that Drishtadyumna? You, O Dronacharya. So the introduction of Duryodhana itself is with the criticism of his martial teacher. And after that, that shows his inner nature. He wanted to just put blame. He is not taking responsibility that this war is happening because of me, my grade, my misbehavior, nothing like that. He's just putting the blame on others as much as possible. Dronacharya, oh, you have taught these people not trying to compromise your principles, and that's why we are landed now in this situation. So he's criticizing Dronacharya. After that, he gives all kinds of calculations that in Pandava's army, who are there, this then different major warrior names he takes, that Drushtadamna, Pandavas, Virata, and Chekitan, and all these different people. He tells about their strength. And then as if he knows what all Pandavas can do maximum. And then he tries to compare his own strength, that now on our side we have Bhishma to start with, then we'll have Karna, then Jayadratha, and all other different people. So Duryodhan is actually kind of trying to pump up his own army artificially, saying that we have more skilled people, we have more experienced people, and we have number of Akshavini. It was almost double. Like Pandava side had 7 Akshavini, Kaurava side had double, almost double, like 11 Akshavini comparatively. Now, from materialistic calculation perspective, if it is today's war, anybody would have said, okay, these guys had so many nuclear warheads, other side has only that much. So definitely it's very straightforward who is going to win. But there was one major flaw from the Kaurava side. And what was that? None of the Kaurava generals they were actually fighting for this guy, Duryodhan. Why? If you look at Bhishma, Bhishma actually had very much soft heart for Pandavas. He knew they are ethically right. He knew they are very righteous people. And given a neutral stand, Bhishma would have liked to side with Pandavas only. But because he had taken a vow maybe hundreds of years ago, that whoever sits on the throne of this particular Hastinapur, he is going to serve them. Right now, who was on the throne? It was actually father of Duryodhan, it is Dhritarashtra. And because Dhritarashtra is sitting on that throne, Bhishma has to serve his sons. Now, the next part, like Dronacharya. Again, for Dronacharya, because he was drawing salary, he was like a salaried worker. So still, because he was a teacher and that respectable level, but still, even though he loved Arjuna so much, he loved Pandava so much, still he had to fight from Kaurava's side. Now Karna, for him, although he was a friend of Duryodhan, he was still very much skillful to fight in the battle. But first 10 days of this particular war, Karna literally kind of wasted his skill sets. Why? Just because ego with Bhishma Dev. So he told, as long as this old guy is around, I'm not going to fight. And then Duryodhana has to balance situation. First 10 days, Karna didn't enter in battle at all. And like that, if you the different generals, even Shalya, the last general, he was actually supposed to go to Pandavas, but just because his nice audience, the reception was actually arranged by Duryodhana, so he went and joined Duryodhana. So everybody had a different reasons why they were fighting Kauravas, and none of them were aligning with what Duryodhana wanted. On the opposite side, every Pandava's major person, he had earmarked, like Bhima has already taken vow, every single son of Dhritarashtra is going to kill. Arjuna had decided he's going to kill Jayadratha. Even the other Sadev had decided, I'm going to kill Shalya. And even Arjuna had taken vow, I'm going to kill Bhishma. So even Shikandi has decided he's going to help killing Bhishma. So all people were very much clear in their thought process what they are going to do and for what they are fighting. So Duryodhana's major fault, although his material calculation perspective, his army was much bigger, but because of their ego problems, none of these um, none of these general warriors were with him. So he had to speak a lot of ups and downs and in these dialogues. Like he knew, for example, one of his brother Vikarna, and while disrobing episode of Draupadi, Vikarna had spoken, although he was the brother of Duryodhana, he has spoken that this what is going on is not right. So he knew that there is some soft corner in Vikarna's heart, and he puts Vikarna in the same category like Bhishma and Drona, saying that as if he is very great warrior. So Krishna, this Duryodhana is actually trying to just keep his flock together, and he knew that none of his generals he can actually rely on, but still he's just trying to pump up his party by glorifying their skill sets. So Duryodhana's anxiety, you can imagine, it's at what level? It was not whether I will win or war or not, whether my people will stay with me or not. That was, and then the next level, will I be able to kill Pandavas or not? So Duryodhana's anxiety was completely from criticism perspective, that they have this much, I have this much, and now whoever is I managed to gather should remain with me. So Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, their anxiety, what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, is actually of lower modes, that is of ignorance and passion. So we look at the modes of material nature in 13th chapter, but these modes are not considered good. Now let's look at the interesting session that is a core part of this Bhagavad Gita's first chapter. Why Arjuna is asking to take his chariot in between both the armies. Now, Krishna knew what is going on in Arjuna's heart, and where did he stop? He stopped right in front of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya, because Krishna knew that if Arjuna has to overcome the weakness of his heart, the most difficult part that he has to face his grandfather, he has to face his beloved martial teacher right in this battle, and at time he has to kill them. So Krishna wanted Arjuna to break that most difficult part of his life. So when Arjuna actually saw that Bhishma Dev was there, Dronacharya was there, Arjuna's actual heart started melting, and then he started immediately thinking, now, oh my God, I have to kill my elders. Before that, also Virata he had fought with them. but it was not terminal battle. It was just like average battle where he has to just show that okay, I won, you defeated, that's it. Here it's not win and defeat, he has to kill, then that is a war, then that is a winning part. So this was the first point, that he immediate relatives, he saw that my respectable elders, I have to kill them. Then he broadened his view, and then he mentions that there are so many sons, grandsons, the cousins, uncles, everybody. He saw close relatives, not only in one side, opposite side as well. Both the sides his relatives were there. And he was wondering, if all these relatives are killed, even if I won this battle, with whom am I going to enjoy? Because nobody would like to just kill everybody and enjoy just alone. Everybody would like to enjoy with some, with, let's say if you go on trip, if you go on trip alone, how much you can enjoy. But if you go with your family, maybe kids, that's a better greater enjoyment. So Arjuna's point was, if I kill all my relatives, I just see it's a loss and loss. It's not win and loss. Now, again, he broadens his perspective. How about remaining army, with whom I do not have direct connections, but still they have gathered here just because their kings had asked him to come to fight. So literally millions of soldiers had gathered on both the sides. One Akshohini actually calculates to some 240,000 soldiers, and millions of soldiers had gathered both the sides. All of them will get killed literally in this battle. And he was feeling that so much of caste massacre is going to happen from both the sides. What amount of sinful reactions will be generated out of this? Again, Arjuna's argument didn't even stop there. He was not just wondering about the armies accumulated from both the sides. He was thinking of their families. Now the families, if the protector of family is not there, the elders in family are not there, kshatriyas are not there, then all the rogues and thieves will just run uh, astray in the streets, and they will just start plundering, and all kinds of nonsensical things can happen if there is no police protection or there is no law and order in place. So Arjuna was wondering, if I kill all the Kshatriyas who are assembled here, what will happen to their respective families, particularly their sons, their wives, everything will be problematic. And Arjuna also puts forward very intelligent argument that when such destruction of family tradition happens, and when women are kind of exploited by unscrupulous people, then all kind of rituals also will be stopped. First thing is, future generations which are going to come, they are not very religious, because from Gita perspective, from Vedic perspective, there is a very authentic way to get nice religious children, when both husband and wife are specifically praying for it, following a lot of religious life, and then they are blessed with that kind of kids. If there is no kshatriya, women are exploited, next generation definitely will not be so religious. They will not be interested in any kind of following traditions. And then whatever performances they do, which helps their ancestors, even like Pitru Paksha, we do a lot of other pujas, and we worship for our ancestors. All that is going to stop, and the previous generation, next generation, everybody is going to suffer. So Arjuna is actually very much um, convinced that this war is going to create so much of problem. At the same time, he knew that we have been mistreated in the past, how Kauravas had caused so much of problems. So in one side, he knew this war is necessary. At the same time, he knew, if I go ahead with this decision, what all things going to happen. So there is a deep battlefield going within Arjuna's mind. I'm going to just revise them again here in this particular slide. Because of his conflicting priorities, what exactly should I do? He starts quoting different Arthashastra, Dharmashastra, this, that, and he's trying to tell Krishna that why he should not fight. First, of course, he starts with Bhishma and Drona. "Oh, how can I kill my respectable elders? And then if I kill all my relatives, what is the price of this victory? Is it really worth by just killing all other relatives and winning this battle?" And this, so much of sinful reaction gets generated by killing so much of people from both the sides. Is it even ethical? And not just this battlefield, people who are gathered on this battlefield, entire societies, because the armies which had gathered on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they were not only from just India region, they had got it from across different parts of the world. So an entire societal collapse would happen across the world. Who will be responsible for this? So thinking of even past generation, future generations, everybody is going to suffer. And because of whose mistake? Because Arjuna decided to go ahead and fight and have this particular battle. So Arjuna was feeling so much of anxiety that if he literally starts like shivering because of so much of thoughts, it is said that his that psychosomatic effect, Arjuna actually starts perspiring. This his dhanusha actually slips from his hand. He just sits on the battle that chariot with his head in his hands and tell Krishna that Krishna, I'm not convinced. I just feel like I should quit this and I just want to go to forest. I don't. It's okay even if other party wants to kill me if I'm not resisting even. So much of anxiety Arjuna is feeling, and he is putting forward all of them to the Krishna. Now we come to the very important part, that is the last part of this section. I have picked up only one particular shloka from this chapter to summarize the situation of this chapter, that is 1.44. Let's read that. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. So Arjuna is very clearly telling that it is means how strange, we are supposed to be pious people, but we are, how strange is that we are preparing to commit this war, this greatly sinful act of killing everybody with the desire of enjoying this royal happiness later on. And for that we want to kill our near and dear ones. So Arjuna is putting forward all these arguments. They are extremely logical, and it looks like that Arjuna is, if anybody else would have been there, he would have got convinced and would have told maybe you are right, and maybe there is no point in going ahead with this war. Let's have a discussion against and see what can be done. So this yoga of lamentation is actually yoga of Vishada. Why is it yoga? Because even in this lamentation, he is seeking guidance from whom? He is seeking guidance from Supreme Lord. So when we are in extreme anxiety and we pray deep within, oh God, oh God, I am put into this situation. These are so many issues I am facing. Please guide me from within. That desperate prayer from within heart, that is what is yoga, that is connecting to the Supreme via disturbed mind. So this is also yoga, which is connecting to the Supreme Lord. Now, this episode establishes Arjuna as a very genuine and sincere seeker of guidance. He was not looking doing some time pass discussion or just back and forth throwing some argument. He was in genuine problematic situation and he wanted very, very convinced answers why this war has to proceed. Because the problem, as you see from Kaurava's side, not everybody was half-hearted. Why we are fighting this battle? Everybody had different agenda. From Arjuna's side, he wanted very clear-cut answers. Why am I going to fight this battle? And that conviction of heart, unless and until it is not there, Arjuna was not ready to go ahead with this battle. So what Arjuna was looking was for very deep conviction on each and every argument which he has put forward. So as we proceed to the second and third chapter of this Gita, we can actually see that Krishna actually addresses these major concerns one by one in very systematic manner. That knowledge which Krishna has presented to Arjuna, if we understand, when we are in the deep soup of our life, those knowledge, those answers will help us as well. So this chapter was specifically to understand how much anxiety, what a genuine anxiety, what Arjuna was going through. Much less compared to what even Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra had. Arjuna was concerned about, because of his compassionate, soft heart, he was actually concerned about both the armies and so many other situations as we discussed. And he wanted very convincing answer because Arjuna did not want to do anything half-heartedly. Arjuna, if he wants to fight, he wants to fight with 100% of his attention focus. And Arjuna was such a skilled warrior. Just before this particular Mahabharata war started, Arjuna had gone to the heavenly planets. From the heavenly planets, he had acquired very, very interesting weapons. And there is a description of these Nivata Kavachas. These are the enemies of demigods whom he has defeated in the heavenly planets. So it is described Arjuna can shoot the arrow and then guide the arrow with his mind, the speed and direction as well. So Arjuna had acquired a lot of subtle skills as well as physical direct skills. But before putting them forward, he wanted his heart to be means heart to be convinced and heart to be in place. Why am I proceeding? These answers were very much important. And the knowledge, the philosophy which Krishna is going to speak, it's a very enlightening for all of us, and it will help us. Definitely situations, some kind of situations will come in our life, maybe not this much anxiety, but some level of anxieties will come, and at that time anybody who has this knowledge will be able to take very right decision in their life. Thank you so much for your attention, and if you have any specific questions, please please feel free to ask. I hope most of you have seen Mahabharat or you have read Mahabharat. Any questions about this chapter or even pre-episodes, you can ask.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
May I know who are these Nivata Kavachas you are mentioning?
Okay, Nivata Kavachas.
What is the story between Arjuna and them?
Okay, it's super interesting story. Will take at least 15 minutes, but I'll try to crunch into 2-3 minutes remaining time. So Nivata Kavachas were actually the demon race who had attacked, who had actually got a lot of benedictions from Brahmadev, and they had attacked on Indra. These Nivata Kavachas can appear and disappear wherever they want, whenever they want, and they can attack without even being seen. They could not be even seen by demigods. So Arjuna had a very specific set. He had practiced shooting arrows just by hearing, and that the level of skills which Arjuna had acquired, none of the demigods had it. So when Arjuna went to, he actually went only for one day to heavenly planet. Indra immediately asked all the demigods to please bless Arjuna with all their important weapons. Using these weapons, first thing Arjuna went and challenged Nivata Kavachas. Even his chariot was pulled down in the space, and the description is terrible. The way his Nivata Kavachas attacked 60,000 of them, okay, and against whom only one Arjuna. And Arjuna when challenged them chivalrously that if you like, if you are still scared of such a mortal human being, appear or even speak out. And this Nivata Kavachas could not tolerate their such a insult by mere human beings, and they happened to speak. And as and when they were picking up their weapons, Arjuna could understand at what locations they are, and he shot the arrow. And even though Nivata Kavachas were changing their positions, he had actually shot the arrows with targeted GPS, you can say, and each of his arrow actually shoot the target. So the description is very extremely interesting. I recommend you can read in Mahabharata itself. It's there online as well. And maybe in some of the later chapters, when I get time, I would like to, I would revisit again maybe. So Arjuna, when he sees that I'm in later chapters, he sees that I'm not able to control wind. Sorry, I can control wind, but I cannot control my mind. Arjuna actually had controlled all the arrows with his mind, literally speaking. After that episode, when he came back to Indra, Indra identified that Urvashi was interested in Arjuna. So, and Arjuna happened to look at him. So, when Urvashi was sent to Arjuna, Arjuna told, I was looking at you thinking as you are one of our ancestral mother. So, Arjuna could control his senses with Urvashi, he could control with his mind, he can shoot arrow. So, he had a terrific control. And still, Arjuna is saying that I cannot control my mind in one of the latter chapters, sixth chapter. So when Arjuna is saying I cannot control mind, that means it literally like PhD level person is saying that some problem looks difficult, and we are still in like kindergarten, and mind control and many other techniques are beyond our reach. But by the mercy of Krishna and this process of philosophy, to certain level we will be able to practice by mercy of Lord this mantra meditation. We'll talk about that also.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if any more question for last 1.5 minute.
Namaste. No more
Yes.
question from my side, but this was a very interesting session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
looking forward to the next sessions.
Thank you so much. So next session we'll have next Thursday, and we will be covering some specific set of verses from the Bhagavad Gita. I will post about it. If possible, please try to read the translations from the Gita, because I'll be covering those concepts, of course, with some images and some diagrams. But it will be nice if you know those concepts in advance. You can actually grasp the knowledge very easily. Once again, thank everybody for joining today's session. And let's just say once for this Hare Krishna mantra, and then we'll proceed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. See you for the next session. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.